If you're over 60 and you've ever laid awake at night because of tingling feet, burning sensations, numb toes, or that strange feeling that your legs no longer belong to you, then please stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to share may completely change the way you think about nerve damage. Let me tell you about George. George was 73 years old when he first walked into my office. Not because of pain, not because of weakness, not even because of the numbness. He came because he was terrified. Terrified that one day he would stand up from his chair and fall. Terrified that he would lose the ability to drive. Terrified that he would no longer trust his own feet. And, perhaps most painful of all, terrified that he would become dependent on his children for the simplest daily tasks. You see, most people believe that once tingling, burning, or numbness starts, the story is already written. They believe nerve damage is simply part of aging, something to endure, something to accept, something that only gets worse. But after more than 30 years working with older adults, I've learned something that changed the way I view nerve health forever. Many nerves are not dying. They are struggling. Struggling because they are deprived of oxygen. Struggling because inflammation never turns off. Struggling because the body is missing the exact conditions required for repair. And here's the part that shocked George. The biggest opportunity for nerve healing doesn't happen during the day. It happens while you sleep. In fact, what your body does during those few hours of deep sleep may determine whether your nerves continue to deteriorate or begin to recover. And tonight, I'm going to show you a simple bedtime routine designed to create the conditions where nerve repair becomes possible. No complicated equipment, no exhausting exercises, no miracle promises. Just a series of small actions that work with your body's natural healing systems. But before we begin, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, type the word nerve if you've ever experienced tingling, burning, numbness, cold feet, or strange sensations in your legs. And stay with me, because a little later I'll reveal one common nighttime habit that may be making your nerve symptoms dramatically worse without you even realizing it. Before we move into the actual bedtime routine, there's something every senior needs to understand. Because if you don't understand this one principle, nothing else in tonight's episode will make sense. Most people think nerve problems begin when nerves become damaged. But here's what most people don't realize. Many nerve symptoms begin long before permanent damage occurs. Let me explain. Imagine your nerves as a vast electrical network running through your entire body. Every step you take, every sensation you feel, every signal that tells your brain where your feet are in space. All of it depends on those tiny nerve fibers communicating clearly. Now imagine what happens when those nerves stop receiving enough oxygen, when inflammation begins surrounding them, when blood flow slows, when stress hormones remain elevated day after day. The nerves don't immediately die. They begin to struggle. The signals become distorted. That's when strange sensations appear. Tingling, burning, pins and needles, unexpected numbness. The feeling that you're walking on cotton, or the feeling that you're wearing socks when you're actually barefoot. Sound familiar? If so, I want you to know something important. These symptoms are not always a sign that your body is failing. Many times they're a cry for help, a signal that your nerves are operating in a hostile environment. And that environment becomes especially important after age 60. Because as we age, circulation naturally becomes less efficient. Deep sleep becomes lighter. Inflammation becomes more common. Recovery slows down, not because the body has given up, but because the body has fewer resources available. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Your body has a built-in repair window, a period of time when nerve recovery becomes dramatically more active. It doesn't happen while you're watching television. It doesn't happen while you're driving. It doesn't happen while you're worrying about tomorrow. It happens during deep sleep. During those precious nighttime hours, inflammation drops. Repair hormones rise. Blood flow redistributes. damaged tissues begin their maintenance cycle. Think of it as a road repair crew. They don't repair highways during rush hour. They wait until traffic disappears. Then the real work begins. Your nervous system works exactly the same way. But here's the problem. Most seniors unknowingly block that repair process every single night. And one of the most common reasons has absolutely nothing to do with the nerves themselves. In fact, it often starts with something sitting on the dinner table. And what I'm about to show you next may completely change the way you think about your evening routine forever. Now, let's begin with the first step of the nighttime nerve repair routine. And I want you to pay very close attention, because this may be the simplest thing you'll do all day. Yet, for many seniors, it becomes the turning point. Let me ask you something. Have you ever climbed into bed with cold feet? Have you ever noticed that the tingling gets worse the moment you lie down? Or perhaps your feet feel numb, heavy, disconnected, almost as if they're no longer receiving the signals your brain is trying to send. If so, the problem may not begin with the nerves. It may begin with circulation. You see, nerves are living tissue, and living tissue requires oxygen. It requires nutrients. It requires blood flow. Without circulation, even the healthiest nerve cannot function properly. Think of blood as the delivery truck. It brings oxygen to the nerve. It removes waste. It delivers the nutrients needed for repair. No delivery truck, no repair. It's that simple. This is why the very first step of our protocol focuses on circulation. Before bed tonight, sit comfortably on the edge of your bed. Place both feet flat on the floor. Now point your toes away from you. Then pull them back toward your body. Slowly, deliberately. Again, and again. Continue for 30 seconds. As you do this, you'll feel the calf muscles activate. That's important, because your calf muscles function like a second heart. Every time they contract, they help pump blood from the lower legs back toward the heart. And when blood begins moving more efficiently, oxygen delivery to the nerves improves. Now add ankle circles, 10 circles clockwise, 10 circles counterclockwise. Nothing aggressive, nothing painful, just gentle movement. But here's where it gets really interesting. Several years ago, I worked with a retired school principal named Walter. Walter was 72. Every night he described the same frustration. The moment he got into bed, his feet would begin buzzing. Not painful, not exactly, but irritating enough to keep him awake. He thought it was simply aging, something he had to live with. I taught him this exact circulation routine. 30 seconds of ankle pumps, 20 ankle circles. Nothing more. 3 weeks later, he returned smiling. He said, "Doctor, for the first time in years, my feet feel warm when I get into bed." Warm. Not numb. Not buzzing. Warm. That was the first sign his circulation was improving. And often, improved circulation is the first signal that the body is finally receiving what it needs to begin repairing itself. Now I want you to do something. Rub the bottom of your feet for 5 seconds. Notice the temperature. Notice the sensation. Notice whether one foot feels different from the other. Remember what you feel right now, because by the end of tonight's routine, we're going to test it again. And many people are surprised by what changes in less than 10 minutes. But circulation is only one piece of the puzzle, because even perfect blood flow cannot heal nerves if the body remains trapped in a constant state of stress. And what we're about to cover next may be the most overlooked nerve-healing tool in the entire human body. Now, let's talk about something that surprises almost every patient who walks into my office. Many people believe nerve healing is primarily about vitamins, or circulation, or medication. But after more than 3 decades working with older adults, I've learned that one of the biggest obstacles to nerve recovery isn't physical at all. It's stress. And unfortunately, many seniors go to bed carrying far more stress than they realize. Let me explain. Imagine trying to repair a damaged road while traffic is still rushing through it at full speed. Impossible. The repair crews can't work. The equipment can't get through. Everything stays in emergency mode. Your nervous system works the same way. When your body believes it's under threat, even a small threat, it activates a survival response. Heart rate increases, stress hormones rise, blood vessels tighten, muscles tense, inflammation remains elevated, and, most importantly, repair gets pushed to the background. Because from your body's perspective, survival always comes before healing. Now here's the problem. Many people over 60 spend years living in a low-level state of stress without even knowing it. Worrying about health, worrying about finances, worrying about children, worrying about the future. And while those concerns are understandable, the nervous system doesn't distinguish between an immediate danger and a constant stream of anxious thoughts. To the body, stress is stress, and stressed nerves don't heal efficiently. This is why some people notice their tingling gets worse during stressful periods, why burning sensations flare after a difficult day, why numbness often feels stronger at night when the mind finally becomes quiet enough to notice what the body has been experiencing all along. But here's the good news. You can begin changing that environment in less than 1 minute. Right now, I want you to try something with me. Take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now breathe out gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. Slowly. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, in for 4, out for 6. Continue for 5 breaths, and as you do, allow your shoulders to drop. Relax your jaw, unclench your tongue. Let the muscles around your eyes soften. Most people don't realize how much tension they're carrying until they intentionally let it go. Now here's where it gets really interesting. That longer exhale activates what scientists call the parasympathetic nervous system. Think of it as your body's healing switch. When this system turns on, heart rate slows, blood vessels widen, inflammation begins to decrease, muscles relax, and the body receives a powerful message. The danger is over. It's safe to repair. One of my patients, Eleanor, age 76, struggled with burning feet every single night. She thought she needed another medication. Instead, I taught her this breathing technique. 5 breaths before bed. Nothing more. 3 weeks later, she told me something remarkable. The burning wasn't completely gone, but for the first time in years, she could fall asleep without feeling like her feet were screaming for attention. Why? Because healing had finally been given permission to begin. And, in a moment, I'm going to reveal a warning so important that I nearly placed it at the beginning of this entire episode. Because one common evening habit may be inflaming your nerves night after night without you realizing it.
Before we move to the next step, I need your full attention, because what I'm about to share may be the most important warning in this entire episode. In fact, if you remember only one thing from tonight, remember this. Many seniors spend all day trying to reduce nerve pain, only to unknowingly make it worse every single night. And the culprit is often sitting right on the kitchen table, late-night eating, especially sugary foods. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, it's only a small dessert. It's just a few cookies. It's only a bowl of ice cream while I watch television. But here's what most people never realize. Your nerves don't care how innocent the snack looks. They care about what happens inside your bloodstream afterward. Let me explain. When you eat sugary foods late in the evening, your blood glucose rises. Your body responds by releasing insulin. Inflammatory chemicals increase, oxidative stress rises, and nerve tissue becomes more irritated. Think about an already sensitive nerve like a sunburned patch of skin. Now imagine rubbing that sunburn over and over again. That's essentially what nighttime blood sugar spikes can do to already stressed nerves. The inflammation doesn't just stay in your bloodstream, it affects the tiny blood vessels feeding your nerves. It interferes with oxygen delivery. It increases nerve sensitivity. And for many people, it turns mild tingling into intense burning. This is why so many seniors tell me the same story. My feet feel fine after dinner, but 2 hours later when I get into bed, the burning starts. That's not a coincidence. That's chemistry. And once you understand that, everything changes. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert was 69 years old. For nearly 2 years, he woke up almost every night with burning feet. He tried creams, he tried supplements, he tried expensive gadgets advertised on television. Nothing lasted. When we reviewed his routine, one habit stood out immediately. Every evening around 9 p.m., he ate a large bowl of ice cream. Not because he was hungry, because it had become a ritual, a comfort habit, something he looked forward to. I asked him to change only one thing: finish eating at least 3 hours before bedtime. No desserts, no sugary snacks, no sweet drinks after dinner. Nothing else changed. 2 weeks later, he called my office. His exact words were, "Doctor, I can't believe this is the same body." The burning hadn't vanished completely, but it had dropped dramatically. For the first time in years, he was sleeping through the night, and that's when he realized the problem had never been only his nerves. It was the environment surrounding them. Now, here's what I recommend. Try finishing your final meal 2 to 3 hours before bed. Keep that meal balanced. Avoid refined carbohydrates. Avoid sugary desserts. Avoid late-night snacking. Give your body permission to stop digesting and start repairing. Because here's a truth most people never hear. Your body cannot fully focus on healing while it's still busy processing a midnight buffet. And what we're about to discuss next may be even more surprising. Because even if you improve circulation, even if you calm your nervous system, even if you stop late-night eating, your nerves still need specific building materials to repair themselves, and without them, recovery becomes much more difficult. Now let's talk about something that almost nobody discusses when it comes to nerve health: the actual structure of a nerve. Because once you understand this, many symptoms suddenly make sense. Imagine an electrical wire running through your wall. Inside that wire is a conductor carrying signals. Around it is insulation protecting those signals and helping them travel smoothly. If the insulation becomes damaged, the signal becomes distorted. It may weaken. It may become erratic. Sometimes it may not get through at all. Your nerves work in a remarkably similar way. Each nerve fiber is protected by a coating called the myelin sheath. Think of myelin as the insulation around your body's electrical wiring. When that insulation is healthy, messages travel quickly and accurately. You can feel the floor beneath your feet. You can maintain balance. You can react quickly when you stumble. You can trust your body. But when the myelin sheath becomes stressed, inflamed, or undernourished, communication begins to break down. That's when strange sensations often appear: burning, buzzing, pins and needles, numbness, the feeling that your feet are disconnected from the rest of your body. And here's the shocking part. One of the most common contributors to this problem becomes dramatically more common after age 60: vitamin B12 deficiency. Many seniors don't realize that their ability to absorb B12 naturally decreases as they age. Even people eating reasonably healthy diets may not absorb enough. And because B12 plays a critical role in maintaining myelin, low levels can create symptoms that closely resemble nerve disease itself. I've seen patients spend years believing they were simply getting older when part of the problem was a deficiency quietly developing in the background. But B12 isn't working alone. Vitamin B1 also plays an important role. B1 helps nerve cells produce energy. Without adequate energy, nerves struggle to transmit signals efficiently. Imagine trying to run a city during a power shortage. Everything slows down. Everything becomes less reliable. That's exactly what happens inside stressed nerve tissue. Then there's magnesium, one of my favorite nutrients for nerve support. Why? Because magnesium helps calm excessive nerve firing. When magnesium levels are low, nerves can become overactive. Signals become noisy. The result may feel like buzzing, twitching, tingling, or unexplained discomfort. It's almost as if the nervous system forgets how to stay quiet. And then there's alpha-lipoic acid, a powerful antioxidant that helps protect nerve cells from oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as rust forming inside the body. Over time, it damages delicate structures, including nerves. Antioxidants help reduce that burden. Now let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret was 74. She described her feet as feeling wrapped in thick wool socks 24 hours a day. Even when barefoot, she constantly looked down to make sure she wasn't actually wearing them. After working with her physician to address several nutritional deficiencies, especially B12, she noticed something remarkable. Not overnight, not in a week, but gradually. The sensation in her feet became clearer, more accurate, more alive, and perhaps most importantly, she regained confidence walking outside again. That's the part people rarely talk about. Nerve symptoms don't just affect sensation, they affect independence, confidence, freedom, dignity, the ability to trust your own body. And while nutrients alone are not magic, they provide the raw materials your nervous system depends on to repair and protect itself. But there is still one final piece of the puzzle, a simple factor that many seniors overlook every night, and it directly affects blood flow to the nerves while you sleep. In fact, some people notice improvement within days after making this one change. Let's talk about temperature. Now let's talk about the final step. And in many ways, this is the simplest step in the entire routine. Yet it's often the one people overlook completely. Warmth. Specifically, keeping your feet warm before and during sleep. I know that may sound almost too simple, but stay with me, because there's powerful physiology behind it. Think about what happens when your feet become cold. Blood vessels constrict, circulation slows, less oxygen reaches the tiny nerve fibers in your feet and lower legs. And when oxygen delivery decreases, nerve repair becomes more difficult. It's the opposite of what we're trying to create. Remember, everything we've discussed tonight has been about building the ideal environment for healing. We improved circulation. We calmed the nervous system. We reduced inflammatory triggers. We supported the nerves with key nutrients. Now we need to maintain that environment throughout the night. And warmth helps us do exactly that. One of the easiest methods is simply wearing a comfortable pair of loose, breathable socks to bed. Not tight, not restrictive. Just enough warmth to keep blood vessels relaxed. Another option is a warm foot bath about 20 minutes before bedtime. Nothing extreme, just pleasantly warm water. Many of my patients tell me this becomes their favorite part of the entire routine, because it doesn't just warm the feet, it relaxes the mind, and that matters more than most people realize. You see, deep sleep is where the magic happens. During deep sleep, your body enters its most powerful restoration state. Repair hormones increase, inflammation decreases, cellular maintenance accelerates, damaged tissues begin rebuilding. Even the nervous system's cleanup processes become dramatically more active. It's almost as if an overnight maintenance crew quietly gets to work while you're asleep. But here's the key. That repair crew works best when circulation is strong and the body feels safe. Warmth supports both. Let me tell you about Margaret. At 74, she described her nighttime routine the same way every evening. She would climb into bed, then spend the next hour rubbing her feet together beneath the blankets trying to get warm. Her feet felt cold, stiff, disconnected. She assumed it was simply aging, something unavoidable. When we talked about circulation, she began using a simple warm foot soak before bed. Nothing fancy, just warm water and 10 quiet minutes. A few weeks later, she smiled and told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, my feet finally feel like they belong to me again. Not because every symptom vanished, but because warmth restored comfort. Comfort improved sleep. Better sleep improved recovery. And recovery improved everything else. That's how healing often works. Not through one dramatic change, but through several small changes working together." Now, before we finish, I want you to stay with me, because in the next few moments, I'm going to summarize the entire nighttime nerve repair routine into a simple step-by-step protocol. I want you to screenshot it, write it down, replay it if you need to, because this final summary may become the most valuable part of tonight's episode, and it only takes a few seconds to remember. 8. Before we close tonight, I want you to remember something. If you've been struggling with tingling feet, burning sensations, numbness, or that unsettling feeling that your legs simply don't respond the way they once did. Please don't make the mistake of assuming your story is already written, because one of the greatest myths about aging is that decline is automatic, that once symptoms appear, there's nothing left to do. After more than 30 years working with older adults, I can tell you that is simply not true. Your body is still working for you. Your nerves are still responding to their environment, and every night while you sleep, your body is looking for an opportunity to repair, restore, and recover. The question is whether we're giving it the conditions it needs. So let's recap the complete nighttime nerve repair protocol. Everyone, please write this down, take a screenshot, replay this section if you need to, because this may be the most important 60 seconds of the entire episode. Step 1. Rub the bottoms of your feet and perform 30 seconds of ankle pumps, followed by ankle circles. This wakes up circulation and increases blood flow to the nerves. Step 2. Take 5 slow breaths. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. This shifts your body out of survival mode and into repair mode. Step 3. Finish eating 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Avoid sugary snacks and refined carbohydrates in the evening. Give your body permission to focus on healing instead of digestion. Step 4. Support your nerves with the nutrients they depend on, especially vitamin B12, vitamin B1, magnesium, and other nerve-supportive nutrients recommended by your healthcare provider. Step 5. Keep your feet warm. Wear comfortable socks or use a warm foot bath before bed to support healthy circulation throughout the night. Step 6. Protect your sleep, because deep sleep is where the most important repair work happens. Now imagine what could happen if you practiced this routine consistently. Not for one night, not for 3 days, but for 2 to 3 weeks. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. A little more warmth, a little less tingling, a little more confidence walking across a room, a little more trust in your own body. And sometimes those small victories become life-changing. Because nerve health isn't just about sensation. It's about independence. It's about mobility. It's about continuing to live life on your own terms. It's about being able to walk beside your grandchildren, drive to church, visit friends, go shopping, wake up in the morning and feel like yourself. And if nobody has told you this lately, let me be the one to say it. It is not too late. Your body has not given up on you. Your nervous system has not stopped trying to heal. And tonight, with a few simple steps, you can begin helping it do exactly that. If you found value in today's episode, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every week, we share science-backed strategies designed to help adults over 60 stay strong, sharp, mobile, and independent for as long as possible. And before you leave, I'd love to hear from you. Which step are you going to try first tonight? Comment below and let us know. I read as many comments as I can, and your experience may encourage someone else who is struggling with the same symptoms. Until next time, take care of yourself, be patient with your body, give yourself grace, and most importantly, never underestimate what consistent small actions can accomplish. From my heart to yours, may your feet stay warm, may your sleep be deep, may your nerves find the calm they need to recover, and may you wake tomorrow morning feeling a little stronger, a little steadier, and a little more hopeful than you do today. Good night, and stay healthy.